Today is Monday, September 10th. Holy smokes. And we are going to get right to it, starting with Samantha B. I'm going to share my screen, and we will get her going here.
Welcome to Fitness and Nutrition 101. It's Samantha B. Let me set my timer so we keep things on schedule this evening. Welcome. It is September. I have to double check myself. We have some people that are entering into their second month, the third month, and then our lifestylers who again are living the dream. Now, I go through these topics regularly because they need to be addressed for our new people, and it's always a good reminder for the people that are in lifestyle, for the people that are already in the later phases of the experiment, to just be reminded. So my overall topic for tonight is health as a priority, but my first thing that I'm going to talk about is actually implementing a specific schedule on how you can make that work with the chaos of living in this day and age. So, ladies and gentlemen, if for whatever reason you are busy, is anybody busy? If you were unable to complete your exercise requirement for last week, anybody have that problem? These are the two words that you need to start using. Change and rearrange. Get your schedule to work for you. So this is why we started implementing and speaking about making a schedule, because it is so easy to lose sight of what you have to do for an overall week. So you want to make sure that you're giving some time and effort into your cardiovascular exercise, no doubt. You want to make sure that you're giving some time and effort into your mobility exercise, no doubt. You want to make sure you're giving time, what's the other word I was saying? And anyway, you're giving time and energy into your strength training. If you take away time and energy from your cardio, from your strength, from your mobility, you're not going to be as well-rounded, and you're probably not going to feel as good. And then what happens is injuries could acquire, and so on and so forth. So I don't think you guys necessarily believe me. I still think that you guys are not doing this because you don't think that they are created equal. So I'm going to share a story with you. I know how much you love these stories. Regina Cousineau, her husband, Mark Cousineau, and myself competed in our first sprint triathlon. And I did about 1 2-hour bike ride that was specifically for that event, and I swam a few times leading up into this event. Did I necessarily train for this event? Absolutely not. I did do a lot of snatching and clean and jerk because my predominant sport right now is weightlifting. But I will tell you right now that I was able to be successful in an event. I didn't win the event, so it's not as if I'm competing with the upper level of the athletes for that specific course or event, but was able to complete it. Yes, the most important thing is that today, besides being fatigued for sure, I am not sore, I am not hurt, my mental focus is back because I eat calculated. I exercise calculated. Even though I'm predominantly only weightlifting for my resistance training, doing 2 lifts, I still give a lot of time and effort into my mobility. I still give a lot of time and effort fitting in my cardio so that I'm hitting those fitness macros that I keep preaching to you guys that are so important to use together, okay? That one doesn't replace the other. I think we had a long-time experimenter come in for another month this month, say over the past week that yoga and going for her cardiovascular exercise don't replace each other. And she was having a hard time battling that concept for a little while, and then boom, she had a light bulb go off, and she finally realized cardio is cardio, mobility or yoga or core work is just that, and then strength is a completely another identity. With them together, you really get that full circle, that full, strong, and healthy body, okay? Not doing just one mode of exercise that your body is not getting the benefits of the other portions, okay? So remember that we made these fitness macros to keep your body feeling healthy, to keep your body feeling at its best so that you can participate in a hike, or you can participate walking around a city, or you can participate in maybe something a little bit more active like a 5K, and then at the end of it, not be destroyed. I think that we lose sight of the small stuff because they don't feel like they make as big of a difference. It's the small stuff. That's their foundational stuff that cannot be neglected. Good warm-ups, good stretching, good body awareness. So right now, let me ask you a question. Are you contracting your core? Right now, in this minute, are you engaging your core as if you would if you were going to get ready to do a squat, or what you would be doing if you were going to do your pelvic peel? Right now, I want you to turn that on. Why? Why would you expect your core to work doing 3 sets of 15 pelvic peels, to be able to do that amount of exercise if it can't do it right now sitting in the chair, or right now doing it sitting in the car? We need to be conscious and aware of what we're doing with the areas of our body that we're trying to improve on to help our overall healthy, active body to be able to stay happy and active. So I want you to do this now. Are your shoulder blades and your posture turned on? Right now, I'm sitting here. If I adjust mine right now, it's going to be a small adjustment, okay? If you're sitting like this right now, you need to literally pull all the way back. Notice it. It's not bad, but it's something to notice. I'm going to turn to the side for a second. Now, if your head is constantly like this, guess what your neck's going to be constantly doing? To take time to move your neck around. Take time to get all those ranges of motion. Remember, all of your spine, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, all do flexion and extension. They all do rotation. They all do lateral flexion. Remember that all of those joints all the way down your spine need to constantly be working. Now, shoulder blade check, core check. We're going to do this whole segment. Okay, so which brings us all the way back to health is a priority. Now, health is a priority if you prioritize it. If you want to be an athlete, you're not going to make athletic things a part of your chores. And I say this right in the beginning. When I get people on the first call, I say that one of my rules is don't make exercise a chore, because you are lucky that your body is able to do it, okay? So I want you guys to remind yourself that when you get to go out and do your 30 minutes of walking, when you get to go out and bring your high intensity or your intervals or whatever it is that you're working on, be happy that you're even able to do that you're able to participate in activities that challenge your heart or move your mobility or improve your strength. Those are the things that not everybody is able to do, and you are lucky enough that you are able to do it. So if you're busy, if you are unable to complete, you need to change and rearrange. So what that is saying, Monday, be specific. Mondays are a great day, I say, not to take off. I always say it's a great way to start the week on a Monday and a great way to finish the week on a Friday, because you're always going to be active during the weekend. I hope that's where your mindset's at, because usually that's the time that you can model with your loved ones, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's going for a hike, whether it's going for a run or a swim or a triathlon. You're able to do stuff that can bring alongside some camaraderie that will create memories, that's for sure. So I want you guys to make sure that you're setting a schedule that's going to make yourself complete as much as you can. Now, if Mondays are your days from craziness, or maybe the weekend is when you're the most active and that's a great day for you to take off to reset for the week, then I totally understand. But you know your schedule better than anybody else, better than I know it. So I want you guys to really think, okay, Monday, what am I going to do? And I'll be honest, usually I lift on Mondays, but I said, you know what, I probably got a lot of stuff done from yesterday. I feel great today, but I don't want to have a bad lifting session. I want to make sure that I'm really working in my optimal level. So I'm going to wait until Tuesday to lift. But I did decide to do a scheduled walk, which is going to be about 30 minutes. And, you know, because the dog needs exercise, I keep looking down here because he's sitting there looking at me like, this is time to go, I want. No, not yet. So Monday for me today is, I know that I can't neglect my mobility because I didn't do any yesterday, even though I did 3 hours of cardio. I did do a little bit of stretching when I got home, but I don't necessarily consider that mobility because I wasn't really like working into some postures that I'm struggling with. But I did, however, do extra mobility on Friday preparing for the race so that I was feeling really good. Now, Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday. All of those days account for cardio, mobility, strength. Maybe there's something that you're working on specifically. Maybe you're at a workout class, or maybe you're trying to in your 30 minutes trying to go a little bit further. Maybe even be that specific. Maybe even say, I'm going to try to make it 3 miles, or I'm going to try to bring my heart rate, or I'm going to try to keep my heart rate between these 2 levels. The more specific that you are, the more oriented you're going to be with that specific goal that day, okay? I want you guys to really take that into consideration. Scheduling your week. Send it to me for an accountability partner. Send it to Maya and Gina's text on WhatsApp, and then we can help you. We can see, and I can say to you, hey, you haven't listed any mobility. And then you can say to me, well, I do mobility every day. And I'll say, send me a video. Because if you're doing mobility every day, it should not be very challenging to set your phone on the side and get a good video of what you're actually doing and participating in. So, schedule. Be specific. Goal. Be specific. If you're busy, if you were unable to hit your requirement last week, you need to change and rearrange whatever it is that you're doing. So we can work with you on that, but unless you try, we're never going to figure it out. Unless you try to make that schedule, it's going to be pretty challenging for you to be successful getting that output out. Now, I want to remind you, this is in all honesty. If you are not doing your output, do not expect there to be big influxes in your weight change week to week, okay? On that same note, if you are doing the food, if you are eating, is calculated as your cheat sheet tells you to, as in, you know where each meal sits, you're getting every opportunity to bring in high nutrient-dense foods to each of your meals. You're not choosing crappier options, which I don't foresee anybody doing in Mama G's lifestyle right now. Then you need, here it is, you need to understand that you are probably doing more of a comp change during that week when you're not having a big weight loss. So you need to be very confident. I know this is tough, but you gave the reins to Gina and myself, saying, here, Mama G and Samantha B, I trust you. I trust your program. I'm not going to try anything else. And if I tell you right now that if you're doing everything that we're telling you to do, if you're on it, then I want you to be happy with a number that stays the same. Because what that means is that all you're doing is compositionally changing. If you're always having big losses, that's great if you have a lot of weight to lose. But if there's not a lot of weight to lose, having those balancing, and even if there is still some weight to lose, having those evening out numbers, even sometimes when they gain, is usually, if you're eating calculated and your fitness is calculated, is when we're getting a nice change in composition. Because remember, I said this in a couple of calls back, your muscle is as big as, say, my head. Your fat is about the size of my arms, but they're the same weight. So when you comp change all over your body, even though you might not to say, I want my comp change to be right there, tough luck. We all wish that we could comp change in a specific spot. Here. I want all my comp change to go right about, I'm just kidding. Well, no. So I want you guys to remember that if you're doing this, if you're in 100%, yes, you're awesome. Comp change is just as good, if it's not better, than an actual weight loss. So I know that those numbers can get a little in our heads, but I really hope that you guys are staying, involved in your responsibility from your fitness side and your nutrition side, because if you do, the outcome is going to be fabulous, all right? So that brings me back to that overall topic of health is a priority. So if you are not giving yourself that 100%, if you're in the experiment especially, when you're in the experiment, you're trying to make a change. We're telling you, not 30 days. We're telling you it's not 45 days. We're telling you it's not 60 days. We're telling you it's 90 days to make a big change. We're telling you not only in what you look like, but on a cellular, inside your body, to shift the science that you then created for yourself to make your body work as this well-oiled machine. Organs all have a purpose, okay? And one of my favorite things in the entire universe, side tangent, is when people go on cleanses And they forget that we have an organ that cleanses everything for us anyway. So when you do a cleanse, you're literally just removing all nutrients, which is probably worse for you. You should just eat Mama G's lifestyle, and your cleansing will be done inside your body. Okay, sorry. Okay, so health is a priority, okay, right? Like, we kind of signed up for this program and we said, you know, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and my health's being affected, I'm physically being affected, so on and so forth. And you said, okay, I'm going to make health a priority, but now that you're in it, and it's getting like a little bit more challenging, like, you can't just not think about your food. And if you do, you know that you probably not fulfilled a requirement that needs to be filled. Okay, so it's not like you're going to be in trouble, right? It's not like you're bad you. It's just that you know that now you're skewed, right? It doesn't mean that the day is over. It means that you still have other meals to then accomplish. You know that you have to put some work into this, right? And you have to make health a priority, right? If you were on a medication, you were going to go, I don't know, maybe you're on blood pressure meds, maybe you're on depression meds, maybe you're on birth control, whatever. You need those meds. If you don't take those meds, your blood pressure is going to be off, or your depression is going to come back, or you're going to get pregnant without realizing it. If that's the case, you go and you get your medication, right? You don't wait until it's 3 weeks past the fact that you need it. You get it because you need to keep going with it in order for the medication to work. Your food and your exercise is your medication. It is the way that you are going to improve your health. It's the way that you're going to improve the feeling about yourself, and you're going to feel better than you've ever felt. So it's not as easy as just going and picking up a prescription. It isn't. It's a lifestyle that you're choosing to live because you want to be independent and healthy for the rest of your life. What is wrong with putting in a little bit of work? What's wrong with getting something out of a little bit of work? Nothing. Because if you completed anything in your life, it was work. And then when you got that end result, it felt so good. So going back to the triathlon, you know, I was pretty nervous starting. You know, I'm not a great swimmer. I'm definitely not an avid bike rider, but I ran multiple road races. I've definitely done some trail running, not a ton, but I've done some. So that was the only thing that I was like, yeah, I'm not super worried about that. But I knew that I make health a priority. I know that I treat my body with a lot of respect. I know that everything I do, in reality, is for me to become healthier, or is the healthiest version of myself, so that I can live a long and independent lifestyle, so that I can take care of my family, my friends, and grow in who I am. So I don't feel selfish. I don't feel selfish that yesterday I competed in that event. And my daughter came and watched for the beginning. I didn't want her to stay the whole time because it was kind of long. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad that I wasn't doing something else that maybe me and my husband, I spent husband time on Saturday, and I gave him my full attention. And because I had a successful week last week, because I planned on having a successful week, and some crazy stuff happened last week, but I made it happen, right? Because I stuck to my schedule, and when my schedule got kind of messy, I made it work. I did what I could do. And because health is such a priority in my life, I know that I'm going to be able to do endeavors. I know that I'm going to be able to participate in events. I know that I'm going to be able to be better for the rest. Each and every day, I'll just keep growing towards being better. And if getting fitter is part of that goal, then hey, sign me up. But if the last aesthetic change that I have right now is right now, I can be okay with that, because I am very happy with what I can do myself in my business, myself in my fitness, and are there things that I would like to improve on? Yeah. But I'm very happy with what I'm doing right now, and I'm going to continue doing it, because I know that this weekend was such a test. It was a great way to see that not even training for the specific event individually for any progression, but doing these calculated macros that I've been working on for you guys has made me so strong from the inside out, mentally, physically, emotionally. I am ready to tackle about anything. And I don't want to just be here alone. Gina's right here with me. She is feeling stronger, more confident than she's ever felt before. And it's so inspiring. So is her husband. I mean, I have so many clients right now that I am so lucky that I am around these people that are just shooting for the stars. And I want you to be one of those people. I want you to shoot for the stars and know that if you don't make it to your goal, that life's not over and that goal will stay there and you'll get there when you're ready to put in the work. But you've got to take the responsibility of putting health as a priority and getting in that mobility. You need to be able to brace your core. Are you bracing your core? How about your back? Is your posture on? Can you feel your shoulder blades contract behind you? Can you feel your abs actually contract? If you cannot feel your abs, you're not using them. It's a really easy way to figure it out if you're using them or not. But I want you guys to realize that it takes effort in order for you to increase your fitness. It takes effort for you to reduce body fat. There is effort. There's physical work that needs to be put in. There's some tedious stuff that kind of stinks to do, but if you do it and you actually start doing your pelvic peels regularly 4 times a week, like I've suggested to everybody on the experiment, and they're on, if you can contract it, if you can hold your shoulder blades back in place like you're doing your bird dog, and you can stabilize your core, those things independently of doing cardio will help you not become injured. It will help you be able to absorb impact just by doing activities of daily living. By doing the basic strength programs, you'll be able to carry in more groceries. You'll be able to bend over and pick things up. You'll be able to pick up kids and put things overhead. You'll be able to do things, part of activities of daily living, and it will be at ease. But you need to put in the effort. You need to say, I am ready to make health a priority. And fitness is part of that. You cannot take Gina and remove Sam. You cannot take Sam and remove Gina. We are together. This does not work independently of each other. You need to take both parts and you need to create them equally. If anyone is telling you anything different, they're trying to sell you something else. And Mama G's lifestyle, and I want to just hit this one last topic. I'm doing great on time. I want you to feel empowered that you can work out at the gym. I want you to feel empowered that you can work out outside. I want you to feel empowered that you can work out in a class, a combination, lunch break. I don't care. Anywhere. I want you to feel empowered. Is it going to be easier if you have a gym membership? You bet it is. You have a place that you can go, get work done, and leave. But if you have outstanding situations where you need to be, you only have 15-minute breaks. Well, guess what? You only have 15 minutes, so you're going to have to do one portion of your exercise at 1 minute, and then you might have another 15-minute break that you're going to have to do it at another time. Will it always be like that? No. We'll bring it back. But if you've got a goal to achieve, remember, Mama G and Samantha B signed you up for the experiment. It wasn't 30 days. It wasn't 45 days. It wasn't 60 days. It's 90-day commitment for you to commit to yourself and to us for sure. We want you to be committed to us because we know you can do it. We want to watch you transform. Okay? We want to see you make health a priority for 90 days. Because if you're in this right now, you probably took either Gina or Sam and separated it. Okay? Or you never quite figured out how to master either of them. But now we're telling you to put it all together, and it's tough, and there's some struggles. And I would be lying to say that my life is not. I mean, it's challenging to juggle all this, but I wouldn't want it any other way because I'm on the other side, and I know how good you can feel. I hope, going to be put on a medication for the rest of my life. That's one of my biggest goals. For those of you guys that don't know my past history, I had heart surgery and brain surgery before I was 16 years old. 2 major organs in my body were like, hell no. And I taught myself how to walk again. I suffered enormous amounts of deficits before I had surgery for those 2 organs. But once I had them fixed, there was no going back for me. And maybe that's part of my internal motivation, that I remember what it's like to not be able to do what I thought I should be able to do. I know. So if you think that, one, this program is easy, good. If you think you can do more, good, but hold on. Wait. Hold on for that 30, 60, 90 days. And once you get there and you got a good base going on, and we can start really establishing what you want to do with your fitness, whether it's just that you want to be overall fit, or if you want to work on strength, or you want to have more muscle in your body, or you want to become a runner, or whatever it happens to be, then we can talk about it. But get consistent. Make health a priority. Make fitness a priority in your life, because it has to do with your health. You have 3 things. A schedule that has mobility, cardio, and strength. 7 days during the week, you need to be able to implement all the recommendations. You go on to www.mamagslifestyle.com. You log in, username, password, to your lifestyle membership, and you go right on to fitness macros, whatever level you're on, 1, 2, or 3, phase 1 for the first 30 days, phase 2 for the second 30 days, and phase 3 to finish your last 30 days, finishing you at 90 days. Once you have completed that, we can reassess you when we put you into lifestyle. We can say what works, what doesn't work, how much time do you have, where are you in regards to goal, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about Samantha B and Mama G. This is about every single one of you. It's about you shooting for the stars. It's about you being able, and you're allowed to prioritize your health. You're allowed to work out. You're allowed to say no, and you're allowed to say, I want to choose the restaurant. You're allowed to say, I'm going to need 30 minutes before I can leave because I'm going to go for a quick walk. You're welcome to join me. So you making this your lifestyle. You've heard so many gimmicks. Oh, it's a lifestyle program. A lifestyle program is defined by the way that you're respecting and treating your body and what you choose to do with your time. Where is your effort being put? Is your effort being put solely on your career and your family? That's great. I have a lot of priority there too. But if I don't take care of myself, if I don't have my health up in that 90th percentile, guess who might not be able to then prioritize their career and their family? Because guess who might not be healthy enough? Say your kid wants to start hiking and they want to start biking, or they want to start swimming, or they want to surf or whatever. Who's going to bring them there? Who's going to be the one that watches them down there? Not if you're not healthy enough. Not that we couldn't struggle and bring ourselves down to the beach, have to carry 15 bags or whatever, and be pouring buckets, pull our back. We want to make your life as easy as possible, but it's going to take a little work. And we are here to hold your hand all the way. So this week, start this week, make a schedule. Shout out to some people that have already sent me their schedule. I think you guys are awesome. One person in particular, Jen, said, my goal this week is to hit all of my 5s. She already scheduled it. My goal is to hit them all. And I think that's awesome. And life could get crazy and things could get messed up, and she won't fail if she misses a part of it, but she is prepared for the week to know what to do. Everybody can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your journey, not mine. But thank you for letting myself and Mama G be a part of it, because it is incredibly motivating to be around people, setting goals, making goals, and then making new ones to just keep it going. It's a lifestyle that we're sharing with our friends, our family, our loved ones, because our goal at Mama G's Lifestyle is not just to say, hey, come to this experiment, spend $399 with us, whatever it is. We're saying we want you to model it to everyone so that we have a healthier world around us. We don't want just you or me or Mama G to be healthy. I want your husband, your kids, your best friend, your parents, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins. I want everybody to see you transform, because I'll tell you right now that my family thinks about what they eat around me. And that doesn't make me feel bad. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that they think about what they're going to eat, because I wish they'd always think about what they ate. I wish that if there's anything that they can control with their health, that they do it, because I love them. And I want my family, my friends to be around for every part of my life. And I want to be around for every part of their life that we can control. There's too much that we can't. We are affecting change around us, but only if we model the right behavior. So keep your heads up high, keep your goals in front of you, and keep putting in the work. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Samantha B, and you are better for the rest.
Excellent job once again. Wow. I don't like going second, because, then I have to try to outdo her, because it's not like we're competitive or anything. Right, Samantha? She's not even here. I can talk all about her. Anyway, ladies, glad to have you. We'll just keep going here. Got to talk about the triathlon, because look, still standing. No broken bones. Didn't do anything terrible, but huge accomplishment. Conquered some fears. So I really only did it. We'll go back and talk about it. So Sam and Mark started doing this little swim thing this summer. I was training for Morzine, the Spartan, no interest. Number one, swam in high school. Number two, not good at all. Number three, hate getting in cold water, because back then, if the pool heater was broken or it was winter, you had to get in the water. So, I don't want anybody to tell me to get in cold water, let alone the ocean, everything else that happens in the ocean. So, whatever. So then Sam says, we're going to do this little triathlon, but there's a team thing, and one of my friends wants to swim. Do you want to bike or run? I said, I'll take the run, no problem. But how long is it? 6K, no problem. Almost 4 miles, got it. Then the gal wasn't going to be swimming, and now I thought, kind of have a little FOMO. Remember the old fear of missing out stuff? It's a real thing, especially in Mama G's life. And so I said, well, I think that I'm going to just do that little triathlon. Just, what the hell? And, started to think about what Sam did. So remember how we role model for other people. So Sam had said, I'm going to conquer my fear of the water and the ocean, because I know that my kids are going to want to be surfing like their dad, and I don't want to sit on the beach and watch. So I started thinking about it. Maybe she's talking to me. Maybe she didn't even know she was talking to me, right? Maybe I'm talking to you right now. And that's when I thought, well, you know what? Let's give it the old college try. Number one, I could put a wetsuit on, right? I could put a full wetsuit if I wanted to put on, so that I could deal with the cold. What I ended up putting on initially was just a half little top that I had bought a long time ago, never used. And I thought, well, at least that I can kind of deal with the cold aspect of it. Number two, Mark is very, very comfortable in the ocean, and he was going to be with us when we went out there to do a little bit of swimming. And number three, Sam's going in. So guess what? She's not around, right? I can talk about this. She's not a very good swimmer. I'm definitely, there she is. I'm definitely better than her at swimming. So I said, well, this is finally something I could beat her at. See, it's a problem, the competitiveness. And so we went in a couple weeks ago. The water was apparently unseasonably warm, and it was awesome. I can't even believe I'm saying it. I went in the ocean, no wetsuit top, and went, not even cold out here. How is this even happening? We got out through the waves. Mark was with me, helping me. We did a little tiny swim, not very far. And then Sam and I don't know how we ended up by ourselves. Oh, I know, because my nephew, who's a big, strong guy looking to be a firefighter, who can body surf and all, or boogies, what is it called? Bodyboard with fins on, no problem. Can't swim without fins. So poor Mark was out there helping poor Zach, who couldn't swim. And Sam and I try to come in by ourselves, and we get tossed by a wave. Guess what? It's scary, right? You're not sure when you're going to come up. Can you hold your breath long enough? All of those things kind of came back into my life. And I said to Mark, from now on, I'm not going out unless you're with me, and I'm not coming in unless you're with me. So that was kind of the plan for the triathlon. And by the way, I only went in the ocean twice, but I've been swimming once a week. So Sam decides to stay back and go in with the old folks. And she and I got out. The lifeguards were very, very good and helpful in saying, okay, they didn't start the race until they felt there was going to be a break in the waves. I don't know anything about surf and all that stuff. We got out with any issues. We stayed with each other. I was motivating her. Okay, we're going to take 10 strokes. We're going to kick really hard. Do a little breaststroke and backstroke. And it was awesome. It was really awesome. And now guess what? I have no fear of playing in the waves or taking my grandkids coming up in about 12 weeks in the ocean in the future. And baby Logan and anybody else that, I know and love and want to spend time with. So that was a really big deal. We came in from the swim and we transitioned to the bike. Now Mark's well ahead of us. By the way, he was nowhere near us because he's a really good swimmer. And apparently he forgot he was supposed to wait for us, but I think he knew there were enough lifeguards around that would come save us. So Sam takes off. I'm like, well, I'm going to catch my breath here. I'm a little tired after that whole thing. And I drank a ton of salt water. But we transition. So Mark's out 10 minutes ahead of Sam. Sam's out, a good whoever knows how much ahead of me. And I go out on the bike. Now, I'm going to tell you this. My legs are very, very strong. I've been strength training my whole adult life. Sam and I have been weightlifting now for quite a bit of time now, and my legs are strong. Plus, I train for Spartan races, which, by the way, are mostly climbing. So I have already built my base, and I could hang with anybody on that climb in the mountains in Laguna Beach, no problem. My problem is the downhills and the single track downhills and the ruts in the road that come from the water and the trails that people make. And it's scary and you can get really hurt. And I had to hike a bike. I had to get off my bike and I had to hike with it because I was scared to death. Number one, am I going to break my back? Am I going to break my neck? Number two, I don't want to be paralyzed. I don't want anybody to have to take care of me. I've got all these things going on in my head, right? I don't care that it's going to take me 1,000,000 years to hike it. But I am going to not put myself at risk for injury because I know, especially at 55, right? It's more difficult to rehab an injury. And I've had a lot of injuries and a lot of surgeries from physical issues that I've had, right? But I'm going to protect myself. And so I'll tell you, I don't like the mountain biking. I said maybe I'll do a try with you guys once a year. But there's a lot of risk. But the other thing I thought about, again, when I was finishing up, and this was at the end, maybe the last half mile, is I was actually talking to my little Evan, and I said, I'm going to be able to teach my little grandchildren when they start riding a bike, I can take them out on the nice, easy trails with Grammy G. And then after that, they can go out with Grandpa Coos, right? Grandpa Mark, or whatever he's going to be called, right? And I'll babysit, and the rest of them can go out. But the point is, I have the capability. And then we came in from the transition and went out on the run. And again, like I said, my legs are super strong, no problem. I had to hike a run up the hills, and on the way down, no problem. Just put my head down and got it done. And it was great. It was super exciting. We all won our age group. Mark and I, well, Mark won by, no. We all placed top 10. Mark was 6 in his age group. There were only 6 in his age group. I was second in my age group. There were only 2 in my age group. And Sam came in first in her age group, but we don't know how many were in her age group. So stay tuned for that report back. I'm hoping she was the only one so that we could all, and you were the only one. So there you go. We all podium. Well, Mark didn't podium. Sam and I did top 3. Anyway, wanted to share that experience because I want you all to have that experience. I don't care if it's you getting on the floor and wondering how the hell you're going to get up, right? I don't care if your family wants to go for a hike and you're concerned that you're not going to be able to stay up with them. I don't really care what the fear is in your head. The point is with your self-caring, right? Eating nutritious and delicious food, by exercising in a very calculated way, following the fitness macros, you are rest assured that you will be better for the rest of your life, no matter where you sit in the journey, whether you're somebody in your 30s, like Sam and Jen on the call right now with little kids, or whether you're like the rest of us in the call, you know, in the 50s, you know, and up, who, you know, are just trying to hold on for the ride that's to come, because there's so much beautiful stuff to come in our lives, right? And we want to be part of it. So today I went to therapy. I went to therapy for a multitude of reasons: for a kid that's driving me crazy, a little bit for a husband who's making me crazy, and a little bit for clients that are making me crazy. And one of the things we talked about at the end of my session was this, again, fear of failure that I see from so many of you, the all or none concept, right? The vulnerability piece, which I get the vulnerability piece. All right, making yourself vulnerable, right? Because I looked up in the dictionary when Sam was on the call. When you make yourself vulnerable, you're capable of being physically or mentally wounded. I don't want to be vulnerable, right? It's easier to keep the guard up. It's easier not to expose yourself to it, right? The other one was open to attack or damage by being vulnerable. It's true. I live a vulnerable life. I expose myself to all kinds of people because I have an opinion, because I'm always trying to help people, and I get kicked in the ass on the regular, but I'm getting tougher with that. My vulnerability piece that's hard is to let my guard down in terms of my emotions and my feelings. That's what's hard for me. But for a lot of you, it's that, and this is how my therapist talked to me about it. She says, it's easier to not have an expectation than to have an expectation and then not to follow through with that expectation and fail at it. Okay, I can get that. But I guess what I'm saying to you is that it's not all or nothing. All right, a lot of people come into the experiment and then they are gung-ho, all in. And then 2 days later, or a week later, or 30 days later, where'd they go? I don't know where so-and-so is. And then I look back because, you know, we have a lot of clients and a lot of people are working an experiment. It's like, oh, I haven't heard from so-and-so for a while. And then we'll go back and look and see when our last chat or text was with them. And then we kind of take a deep breath and then we shoot them a text and try to communicate again. But it's not all or none. Every meal choice you make that is going to lead to your living a longer, healthier life, right, is positive. So it doesn't matter that, man, this weekend was a big fat blow in my mind in terms of nutrition. I went to this party down in Mission Bay, and then I did this and I did that, and I ended up eating things that I never eat. And so now I wake up Monday morning and I go, well, should I get back into the experiment? Like, let's go. Should I choose to starve myself like maybe the past you would have done, right? And go on the diet, you know? And then by the end of the day, you're starving. So you're eating everything. So we're kind of back to it. The hope is that, you know what? We trip and stumble. But guess who's here? Mama G, Samantha B, to get you up, right? And it's just one meal, one snack. When you start putting those meals and snacks together is when we run into trouble, right? When those days go into weeks, when those weeks go into months, that's when we get into trouble. But that's the beauty of the experiment. That's why we made it 90 days. That's why a lot of you stay on with us for more months on top of that, because you want the accountability. And that's why Sam said, we want you to send us that, the schedule for your workouts. By the way, Sam, waiting for my programming. I need to plan my week. That's why I want to help you hold your hand with your day and pre-logging and all of those things that are going to happen in terms of your food. Don't go out and say, oh, yeah, I didn't want to bother you. And I go, it's my job. Don't make me feel bad. It's my job. Let me do my job. That's why I'm here. You guys know if I'm not available at that moment in time or whatever's happening, I'm not going to answer you. And some of you know to go to the Facebook page and ask there, and you'll often get responses. But one moment at a time, right? One workout, knocked it off today. Today was my day off. Thank God, no workouts. We're going to go on a little walk when we're done. One workout every day, whatever that looks like. One meal, one snack. Keep knocking after it. And you may trip and fall. Do it all the time. hopefully the goal is that, you're not going to be breaking something, right? Spraining something, right? We're talking about metaphors here, and that we can keep on the journey. And, every week I worry when we get on that scale. So Sam said, she's like, I think we should just get rid of the weigh-ins. And I'm like, welcome to the world of weight loss. You have to weigh in. It's just part of the process. And the beauty of it is that all of you on this call know what that downward trend looks like. It's not smooth sailing, right? It's a little earthquake, but it is a downward trend. And it's a really beautiful thing, especially as you get further and further out and closer to your goal. And I understand we wanted it yesterday. That's why weight loss diets exist, right? That's why Nutrisystem, I saw it on TV this morning. You can lose 18 pounds in 1 month or 2 weeks or whatever they said. And you just buy the food and you just eat it. And I can eat cake and pizza and blah, blah, blah. And then what happened? Right? So point being is one meal, one workout at a time. It's not about failing. It's about being successful. And every day, if you can say, I did this successfully, right? We're going to stay on that trend. And that little earthquake is going to continue as we go. It's important to watch those testimonials. So I'm going to say it. Michelle's on the call. She has a testimonial that lives on the website with us. Watch the testimonials. They will motivate you, especially if you're, in that little upward of the earthquake. It's really motivating. And that's why Sam and I, every week, if you've not had a great weigh, and if you're sitting in a plateau, we'll say, what did you gain this week? And every single week, we get a response and something positive that happened. And then the next week, okay, we're always like, phew, scale move. Thank goodness. It's emotional for us when our clients, feel bad, or I've been crying all day because the scale only moved a half a pound. Go pick up a half a pound of butter. Slap it on your waist or on your thigh or on your hip or wherever you want. Don't discount it. And remember that she talked about those changes in terms of muscle versus fat and the size differences. I really would like a real good model to show muscle versus fat, but nonetheless. I want to talk for a few minutes about eating out because it continues to be problematic. And we've talked about a couple of different ways of doing this. So I want to I'll continue to talk about a couple of ways of doing this. Number one, we think about the old My Plate. Now, some of you aren't familiar with it, but My Plate, and I'll post it up with this. I'll write this down. I'll post it up on Facebook page today. It's just the concept of you have a plate of food, dinner plate. Half of that plate is going to be those non-starchy veggies, right? A quarter of that plate is your starchy, grainy carb, and a quarter of that plate is a lean protein. Now, does it mean that that lean protein is covered with a butter cream sauce? Does it mean that that starchy, grainy, that's a beautiful little baked potato on that 1/4 of a plate is covered with butter and sour cream and cheese and bacon and everything else, right? Does it mean that the salad or the veggies on that half of the plate are cooked in butter or tons of oil or sauteed in bacon and grease or whatever? No. It's about being logical about that plate of food. And anywhere, anytime, any place you can go out to dinner, number one, if you advocate. So it's not about, well, my friends want to go. It's like, hey guys, let's come up with a couple options that would work for all of us. Now, maybe somebody doesn't care. We'll leave them out of the mix, but you care, right? Felicia knows, she's now been able to find better options that the family can all pick their favorites. And she knows she can walk away eating something that's nutritious and delicious and usually come home with leftovers from the next day. So we have the My Plate, which is easy. I don't care where you go, any place. You go to a barbecue with friends, you go out to dinner, you're at your in-laws' house. If you know that those in-laws are not on the same life goal as you are, don't even ask. You just bring where you know the meal will be deficient. So hopefully, maybe they're grilling a protein or they're, your protein option's pretty safe, right? Make the big salad. So this weekend, we went down to a friend's birthday party, had zero idea what was going to happen. but I knew they were going to be grilling something. Okay, no problem. I made the orzo veggie salad. I knew immediately that there would be veggies there because I'd seen on the potluck list what people were bringing. So I brought my orzo whole wheat veggie salad. I brought a cooler full of seltzer, and voila, I knew that I could make my plate, right? Fill it up with half of veggies, do a little lean protein that they grilled, and have my quarter of a plate of my whole wheat orzo. And by the way, I got to bring home the leftovers. And so I had it for lunch yesterday, and I had it for lunch today. Okay. The other option, especially if you're working in the experiment and we're trying to be pretty tight with our food, is to kind of come up with those places that you go on the regular. So we have places like Urban Plate, or Flame Broiler, or Rubio's, or this, that, anything. Lisa Photo loves to go to Panini Grill. I love it too. It depends on where you live in the country. Point being is, Lisa now knows, because she orders the plate, which is enough for freaking 5 people, cheap as can be. She gets the bulgur wheat, which is beautiful. She'll get the salmon, beautiful, roasted. And then she gets the veggies, which are roasted veggies, and it's onion and zucchini and beautiful vegetables. She one day made a choice to bring it home and weigh out the bulgur wheat, and weigh out the salmon, and weigh out the veggies. And no, okay, now I know next time I get to eat all the veggies, half of the salmon, half of the bulgur wheat, and I'm good to go. The rest of it comes home with me. She goes there on the regular. Why not do it, right? I've told people we have a new client who has a cafeteria at work. And I know, Sherry, you too have a cafeteria at work. I said, well, here's the deal. I'm not really sure how forward you are. I don't know if you're like me and I could take my food scale anywhere. I don't know if your desk is in a private location. Maybe you have a small kitchen, in your segment of your office. But you also have the option of getting a plate of food. Maybe it's brown rice. Maybe it's grilled chicken. Maybe it's a bunch of veggies. And if you are not feeling confident about it, you walk it to the kitchen in your office building. You walk it to your desk and you do it. Just do it. Do a little measuring and weighing. You do it once, you never have to do it again, right? And you're empowered that way, So 2 options there, right? You build your plate using the My Plate. Easy. You're not going to put it in MyFitnessPal. You're not going to include it in your day, especially if you're pie charting and sending things to me. We just know that we did the best we could under the circumstances, and it's a hell of a lot better than we used to do, right? If you're able to, especially with those places, you go on the regular, do a little weighing and measuring at home. I don't expect you to weigh at the office. I really don't. Okay, I don't. But point being is, I know like Jen has access to a kitchen. She has Madras lentils there. She has things there, a microwave, a refrigerator freezer. So she will do her kefir shake there. She brought an immersion blender. She's got everything she needs there to knock out a lunch if she needs to, knock out her snack when she needs to. So it's really about prioritizing. And guess what? I guarantee you people are going to look at what you're doing. They're going to smell your food and they're going to go, can I have the recipe? Can you tell me how to do that? Where'd you get that, right? And again, once again, we're going to be inspiring people, role modeling for people you never even considered that you could change their lives. So those are the 2 aspects I want to talk about with eating out, because I think it's incredibly important that you understand that you have the power here. So always choose a restaurant that you can look at the menu ahead of time, where you can look at the menu as well and go, there is not a starchy grain in sight, right? What am I going to do? Well, you got some options. Same thing with getting your veggies in. You eat before, right? You make that bag of carrots up. The other night, what did we have? We had leftovers. I had to throw together leftovers. It was a ridiculous night for me. And I had the whole wheat orzo. I knew what my measurement was of that because I make it all the time. I had my salmon. I knew what my measurement was of that. And I had 0 time to cook a vegetable. So I got out of my refrigerator, baby carrots, which I enjoy because guess what? I don't get to eat them as much as I could. And I had no issue with putting together a bowl of 6 ounces of carrot, hitting my 50 calories plus of my non-starchy veggies, and moving on with my meal. Maybe somebody would say, well, I don't eat carrots. That's so boring or whatever. I found it enjoyable because I eat so many different things that I never eat the same thing all the time. So I really never get bored with it. And I am pretty obsessed with food. And you guys know the way I talk about food. I'm like, oh, can't wait. Because tonight I'm going to make a pumpkin ground turkey chili. And I literally can't wait. Like, we're going to walk the dogs to the grocery store. I'm going to take my recyclable bag because I hate what I forget. And we're going to get the extra things that I need. And I'm going to make it tonight. And then I'm going to build it for you folks. All right. So that's the food side of it that I wanted to talk about because I think it's incredibly important. You're going to go on vacation. You're going to go to people's houses. We do the best we can. So you are going out to dinner. You had no choice. You're in the middle of nowhere. You can get a half of a chicken. Even if you went to a smokehouse in the Midwest, I promise you that they are going to have a barbecued chicken half on the menu. So I suggest you say to the person next to you, want to share, or somebody's going to get extra food at that table. I will promise you that that smokehouse has baked beans. Is it an ideal situation? No, because I guarantee you that there's brown sugar and lots of other things in there. Is it an okay choice? 100%, because the beans are always going to be a winner in my book. So again, keeping in mind your portion size, so you might have to go into MyFitnessPal and just look up something like pork and beans, right? Because you know they probably cooked it with a little bit of pork and different things like that, or pork fat. But you do the best you can. And then if they have a salad bar, great. If they don't have any vegetable options, then guess what? When you get home, get out your raw veggies, or you get your leftover veggies, and you knock out your 50 plus calories of your non-starchy veggie. All right. The point of going out to dinner, though, with whoever you were with, was to enjoy their company. It was not going to dinner for the meal. And I think that mentality has to be addressed. And I have 3 minutes to do so. My mom would always say, I really like my food. I don't even need to go to dinner. And I would think, what are you talking about? Because when we had little kids, going out to dinner was a really big thing. Because number one, it was usually a date night. We didn't get them very often. So, couldn't wait to get a break. Number two, it was like an opportunity to try different foods. That's fine if you're not on the Mama G game plan, which is to live a long, healthy, independent life and to reduce our risk of heart disease and stroke and diabetes and cancers and the like. I can actually live without going and trying a new food, because guess what? I can think, oh man, somebody just went to that new Indian place and they had tikka masala and a flatbread. And I'm like, I'm going to totally make that at home, Mama G's way. And I'll do the same thing with you. Point being is, though, I think you have to flip the switch and think, well, man, if I go to Nick's on Del Mar, this is what I do. I know exactly what I'm having. I'm having their sea bass, which I love. I don't get the lemon butter on top because it doesn't need it. I squeeze the fresh lemon, which has a little net on it. It's so fancy so that the seeds don't go on my plate. They make a beautiful Napa cabbage spinach veggie stir fry, and they put some sliced almonds with it. I don't know why we don't do that at home, Sam. Let's do it on Sunday. And then they do a beautiful baked potato, which they rub in olive oil and coat in kosher salt, and they bake it. And the outside is crispy and delicious, and it's huge, so I have half of it. So the next day I get the other half, and I'm happy. The only thing that I'm missing at that meal, and again, I can make the calculated choice of having it, is a glass of wine or perhaps maybe a little spicy martini or something, right? And I may choose to have it. Right now, I'm in the no alcohol. I'm in my 6 weeks of that. I'm going for 7. I'm going for 9 weeks. So let's get on board. But I could choose to have it. And it's no big deal. The problem is when you have the second glass of wine and then you have the cocktail and then you have 2 glasses of wine. And then, by the way, Nick's makes this awesome, what do they have, Samantha? They have this awesome butter cake. Now we've taken a meal that was nutritious and delicious, and I got to enjoy the company, except we don't enjoy the company there because it's so loud and it's so dark and you can't hear what anybody's saying. And then you've taken this meal and you've turned it into something that, number one, you're going to feel guilty about. Number two, you're probably not going to feel good. Your gut's not going to feel good. And now you're thinking, holy crap, I just ingested all these extra calories. Oh, well, I've blown it, so let's just keep blowing it, right? So anyway, that's the moral of the story. Samantha B is going to get unmuted here. And Samantha, am I unmuted?
Oh, sorry. This is Samantha B, and you are better for the rest.
And Mama G always says, it's not about what you lose, folks. It's all about what you gain. Let's go get it.